Okay.
Yeah, me and Mariah and Cecily will all go on mute. But yeah.
Oh, we are live actually. A very warm welcome and a happy new year to everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Tanya from the Global User Groups organization and your host for today. With a new year comes a new vision. Our new statement is, we bring out the best in every business. It is a bold commitment to our roles, and we support you, the user community, with live knowledge transfer sessions that also include the possibility to interact with our experts. Today's session differs in that we focused on the interaction, on the Q&A part, helping you bring out the best from our solutions for your companies. So please post all your questions in the chat. Our experts will be ready for you. Today, we focus on enterprise automation. And let me introduce our experts for today. So we have Manuel Navislo. He is a solution manager for SAP Build and focuses on technologies like process automation, local no-code development, and integration capabilities. He helps customers to close gaps in their process landscape with the right enablement material, best practices, and learning formats such as hackathons and design thinking workshops. Next, we have Arti Gopalan. She is a product leader with many years of experience in SAP Integration Suite, and she is passionate about customer insights and creating solutions based on research and backed by data. And we have Stefan Schluchter. He has worked for many years in product management for SAP BPM and takes care of enablement activities for SAP Build Process Automation. And he is a regular speaker at events like Sapphire, TechEd, and ASAC or DSAG events. And with this, Stefan, I would like to hand over to you.
Thanks a lot, Tanya, for this nice introduction, and also hello and a warm welcome from my side. It's great that you are here with us today to get more insights about enterprise automation, what it's all about. And I'm also happy that I'm accompanied with my colleagues, Manuel and Arti, and looking forward really to a nice session with all of you. Well, when we talk about enterprise automation or automation in general, what has been the promise? What have we also doing with you at our customer side? Well, first and foremost, we would like to help you with automation to speed up your processes. So meaning getting rid of manual activities, really have one environment where you can create net new processes, for example, or extend standard business processes, or even then doing kind of an orchestration across different systems, across different line of businesses. On the other hand, when we have everything in one environment and we don't send around Excel sheets or emails to get any kind of approvals, for example, it also helps to reduce errors. And last but not least, think about any kind of repetitive, mundane task, filling data into a form or extracting data from Excel sheet or from an invoice you get within your company. I mean, that's quite boring, isn't it? And why not just let a bot do this work for you and really then also free up your time to do more valuable tasks and also to provide more benefit to the organization you're working with. Nevertheless, when you're doing automations, there are also some challenges. And let me come to this one. So on the one hand side, when we are dealing with process orchestration, we're also dealing with different silos, which we need to connect and sometimes also to overcome the barriers we have in there. Creating bots, it's great to get rid of all the activities of the manual activities. But on the other hand, it could also lead that the bot is created here and another bot is created in this organization. And probably you're losing really the control of what's going on there. And last but not least, having also different activities to do some kind of process analysis, doing integration and so on and so forth. And also the creation and the execution could lead to kind of a disconnected tool set. And with enterprise automation, we want to change this. And in this session, we first would like to give you a short overview on this. and then come to all of your questions. So first and foremost, to make this also clear, enterprise automation, it is not a new product. It's rather a smart combination of already existing products and approaches who are coming now closer together from a technical point of view, but also how you can use them within your organization. Also very important, you're not forced to start, let's say, with SAP Build or then move on with Integration Suite and then have SAP Signavio, or first do any kind of integrations, then analyze the processes and then do the automation. That's really completely up to you. But nevertheless, it would help you to really have this smart combination of products here together. So think about, you would like to find out what's currently going on in your processes, do some kind of process mining activities to go even into detail of different transactions to find out what's going on, or to be more precise, what's actually going wrong within your processes, and find out where you could do any kind of improvements. Once you have identified this, probably the next step would be that you say, there are some immediate improvements I could do, or also some improvements over time, and probably I would need there some help to do some kind of extensions of already existing processes, or create net new processes, or automate different areas within a process. And this is where you would use SAP Build Process Automation. And not to forget, when we're talking about orchestration of processes, when we're also talking about accessing business systems, most likely your situation, your landscape is somehow heterogeneous. So you also need to have capabilities how to integrate into different systems and bring them all together to also be able to really benefit from all the activities you have done before. And therefore, for example, use SAP Integration Suite, the tool where you can use to integrate each and everything, may this be on-premise solutions, cloud solutions, SAP, and even non-SAP solutions, and really get the business data at the right point in time when you need it within your process. You can do this all surrounded and supported also with certain artificial intelligence capabilities. We will also show you there a preview today, just in a minute. And we have also found out most likely the challenges you have there, probably they are occurring each and every time in different organizations. So therefore, we are also providing pre-built content packages, for example, with defined integration flows, with user interfaces, with processes, with business rules, whatnot, which you can leverage directly and also use them as a kind of a jump start when you are doing your enterprise automation projects. So in a nutshell, with enterprise automation delivered with SAP, you can integrate your different applications, you can discover any kind of inefficiencies in your processes and automate also your processes. But it's completely up to you where you want to start. And how this could look like, this will now be shown by my colleague, Manuel. Manuel, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Stefan, for the amazing introduction into this topic. I think you did a great job. You summarized it very well. And now I would like to continue with a real life scenario in order to demonstrate you how enterprise automation can be used in a productive scenario, and also to give you a better understanding, because we know enterprise automation includes three main components of the entire SAP portfolio. Those are not minor capabilities, as you have seen just in this diagram from Stefan. So this can make it a little bit complicated to a certain degree. And that's why having like proper use cases, scenarios, and real pain points can help you to get a better understanding and also a better first step into enterprise automation. So the use case that we have prepared for you is in the area of employee onboarding. So from the point of view of a new hire that wants to have a first day at a new company, and we want to see how can we leverage all three components, Signavio, SAP Build, and also Integration Suite, in order to improve the situation from the point of view of the HR business partner, but also from the onboardee. So in this particular use case, we are starting with the SAP Signavio, a business process transformation suite, where we are using mining capabilities and really get deep down into our process instances. So here we can identify inefficiencies, bottlenecks, but also the process development COE can see, okay, there I have my biggest automation potential, and there I have a high degree of inefficient tasks. And here, thanks to the help of Signavio, we identify the onboarding process is not perfect. The average cycle time to get the onboardee the right equipment, to assign them to the right training, and also to make sure that the new employee has all the right system access is taken much longer than expected. So usually there's a delay of 30 days where the employee cannot properly work. Then we continue with SAP SuccessFactors. This is the standard solution for human experience management, so to say, the system of records being used by the HR business partner. And this is also the place where the HR business partner is putting new hire information into the system. And every time the new employee is being entered, this will trigger an event. And luckily, thanks to the fact that Integration Suite is also part of enterprise automation, we can leverage eventing capabilities to really have those asynchronous communication. So every time a new event is being triggered inside an SAP system or a non-SAP system, we can listen to this information and then proactively and also fully automatically trigger different types of activities. And one of those activities that we are initiating in this whole HR scenario is that we are triggering a workflow inside the inbox of the HR business partner and also inside the inbox of the hiring manager to make sure that this is the right equipment, this is the right training assignment, this is the right software access that we want to grant to this new employee. And we are deriving this information from our business rule service, where we have decision tables, thresholds, and condition that can be made pretty easily by a citizen developer. And once we maintained the approval in the system, we are sending out email notification. And then also with the help of pre-developed integration content that we can find on the Business Accelerator Hub, we are also initiating a ticket inside of the SAP Service Cloud to make sure that a system administrator is aware of this new employee, but also a purchase requisition in Ariba to really make sure that the new hire has all the right equipment at the first day of work. And I don't just want to keep this based on slide. I also want to show it to you how it looks like in the proper system. So from the point of view of the process developer or the process owner, we are starting with SAP Signavio. And here you can see we can leverage those mining capabilities, process insights and process discovery capabilities to really evaluate all the process flow, document the BPMN notation for governance purposes to really see what is really happening inside the onboarding process step by step, and also to which types of systems are we connected to. But also thanks to our capabilities, we get some analytical insights about general KPIs, and we see the average cycle times of onboarding is much higher. And therefore, we continue inside the SAP SuccessFactors system. So we are jumping now in the point of view of the HR business partner, where we are entering new hire and new employee data. So general information like the name, the birth, the position and the role, and also the first day of work. And here we are talking from the point of view of the production oversight manager. And this is a really specialized role, and it cannot, all this approval, all this validation cannot be handled via standardized success factors. And here, luckily, we can use the business technology platform to build our own custom extension right here. And now when the new employee has been entered into the system, again, we leverage advanced event mesh capabilities from the SAP Integration Suite to subscribe and to listen to those business activities. And this can be used for anything, a new business partner being entered, a new sales order being uploaded, or like in this case, a new hire being entered into the SuccessFactors system. And it works both for listening to SAP events, but also for non-SAP events. And now, once we get a notification and we are aware of this new hire being entered, we can then initiate a process inside of SAP Build. So here you can see the graphical layout designer. So we are really leveraging low-code, no-code development to make it as easy and intuitive as possible to build those customizable process projects. And here we are leveraging certain conditions, flows, business rules, but also approval steps in between to make sure that every stakeholder is involved, that we are compliant and we have all the right approval. And this types of approval step can be generated with this low-code, no-code UI designer, which you can see right here. But also maintaining conditions and rules inside of a process or inside of any process is really important. And here you can see how we leverage the embedded business rules engine to maintain those decision rules to say this type of equipment is eligible for the new employee, depending on the role and depending on the position of the manager. And here, with this workflow engine, we make sure that the hiring manager and the HR business partner will receive this notification, leave a comment, and then either approve or reject this process instance. And after the approval was given by all the relevant stakeholders, we then leverage the integration suite again to set up a purchase requisition in SAP Ariba, our central tool for sourcing and procurement. So here we are making sure that the right telephone, the right headset, the laptop, and all the necessary equipment is readily available at the first day of work. So yeah, we can pretty much easily integrate to those systems as well. And we also have an integration to the SAP Service Cloud, which is our system of records for tickets and incident management. So here the IT administrator will receive a notification that Jane just recently joined our company, and we are making sure that we are granting her the right system access and the software access that she needs. So you can really see different technical components from enterprise automation being leveraged here, but you can also see here really business outcome being achieved that really affects how employees work, how develop, interact with the systems, and also how process managers identify certain process gaps. And I don't know how you, Stefan and Arti, think about this, but if I had such a smooth transition to my first day or my first week of working, I certainly had it much easier than before. So now so this was a pretty brief introduction to enterprise automation, including this use case and a demonstration, how it looks like in the system. And now I would like to hand over to Tanya to continue with the Ask Me Anything, where we can review your questions.
Absolutely great. We actually already have quite a few questions. Let me read them out loud to you. I will start from the very first question. How can I distribute application created on my SAC tenant to a specific client's tenant using BTP? Is there such a scenario at all?
Sorry, can you repeat the question because I'm not finding it?
Sure. So how can I distribute applications created on my SAC tenant to a specific client's tenant using BTP? Is there such a scenario at all?
Yeah, I think this is a question that goes more into the area of SAP Analytics Cloud, because you can also build lightweight applications within the SAC and deploy it inside your dashboards and analytical stories. It wouldn't be where you use SAP Build to generate applications, because those are more operational and transactional nature and display them inside of the SAC. However, inside in the area of build process automation, there's this area of process visibility, and there you can use certain monitoring or analytical capabilities to review your current process instances. And this is something which can directly display inside of your SAC tenant. So this is a use case where I can imagine involving the SAP Analytics Cloud. Other than that, I think it would be a different scenario.
Thank you very much, Manuel. Now the next one is it possible to integrate SAP BPA inbox with the SAP ECC inbox?
So currently integrating the inbox, so the best way to integrate it to an inbox is via the SAP Task Center, because this is like the central point of view where you can integrate already to SAP Build Process Automation as a workflow. provider, but also other SAP systems like S/4HANA Cloud, S/4HANA On-Premise, Ariba, SuccessFactors, and Fieldglass. If you want to integrate it natively to ECC, this is not yet supported. It is also not really in the roadmap, but I've seen customers doing it via SAP Build Process Automation, where they are grabbing information from ECC and then use the native connectivity between the task center and SAP Build Process Automation to display those activities.
Yes, and just to add to this, I mean, the beauty when you're using Task Center in such kind of scenarios and also including different kind of activities or tasks which are coming in from other applications is that for the end user, it does not really feel any kind of difference. So you really have one look and feel, and this is also makes it much more easier for your end user within your organization to work on this task because they don't have to really the effort to learn what's going on. And just recently, yesterday, I had a discussion with a customer and they were really looking forward to exactly these capabilities.
Great, thank you. Now, we come to the next one. How can SAP BTP's integration capabilities help businesses to connect their existing systems and applications? For example, if we use SAP Business One.
On chat, I did reply to this, but let me elaborate on my answer because in the chat, I'm able to only type in for a few characters. SAP's Integration Suite basically has a flexibility, is providing a platform which is extremely flexible, has support for multiple technical protocols and also solutions, right? So SAP has been striving to make sure that the customers who have SAP as well as non-SAP in their landscape, and that is the reality, the heterogeneous landscape is a reality right now, is being supported with this particular integration platform that is offered on SAP BTP, right? That being said, in the example which is being asked, SAP Business One, there is also the feature of using the bot, generating an API, and then using that to integrate with the systems and applications that are, maybe newly procured as part of your organization, right? The more modern and the cloud applications that are part of your landscape. This is also something that can be, approached from SAP BTP perspective, and that is where enterprise automation with its holistic tools come into play. Now saying that, I would also want to call out that we also have the SAP Business Accelerator Hub, where we have multiple content, including how to use, how to connect with SAP Business One listed. So I would definitely suggest to explore this particular content and see if you find pre-built content and accelerators from SAP already listed.
Great, thank you. Now, is there any link or material to use SAP GUI recorder in business process automation, apart from what we have in the developer tutorial site?
Yeah, very good question. I mean, we have probably this also leads to the question, where can you find more material? On the one hand side, very good point. We have a lot of information on developers.sap.com, where you will find tutorials which you can go through. But in addition to that, and also particular for this question regarding the GUI recorder, we also have several videos out there on YouTube, where we are explaining new functionalities, but also, for example, new content packages, use cases, and within the SAP Build channel on YouTube, you will find also a recording on this. And then, of course, we also have our SAP Help portal, where you will find also descriptions how you can do this. And last but not least, as we are also here hosted by SAP Community, you will even find blog posts around this topic, where either people from SAP or from the community will guide you through such questions there.
And the SAP community is really a good place, not only for finding those documentations from our partners and our customers, but really to engage and ask questions. Because if you're using the connector, like the screen recorder to ECC, sometimes you have a question, how do I integrate to a certain ABAP class or something like this, right? Or how can this and that be identified properly? And then you can also use the SAP community to ask those questions, and people from the community or also from our PM or product engineering team are taking a look at this and also seeing how they can help and support you here.
Now, we have a blog in the community. Perhaps we can also post some links to relevant information, interesting information in the blog post once the community site is up and running again. Okay, and then next, let us come to the next question. I am having an error 403, forbidden in a CAP service. I bind it and already developed on CF. I'm using XUAS authentication. When I try it in a port of 1000, it worked well. When I use Postman, the error occurs.
I think this goes rather to a technical question of the cloud application programming model, which is not inherently a part of enterprise automation. I mean, I'm not a developer, but maybe it can be related to a course issue or something like this. Maybe we can take it offline and discuss it with a technical colleague, or I think the ideal way is to raise a ticket if there are like any technical issues in this nature.
By the way, someone already tried to answer also this question from the community in the chat. So thanks to Matthias. Hopefully this will help.
Thank you. So next one is BTP is a tool that integrates SAP with external systems.
I think this would be too short spoken, if you will. So within the business technology platform, we are hosting and providing different services for different use cases. And of course, one major part of the BTP is the SAP Integration Suite. And this you can use to connect to external systems. Or, for example, if you want to automate processes, you can even use the APIs from the system to directly connect with them.
Right, thank you. Now, how is enterprise automation positioned in the past? In the past, there was RPA. How is it different, and how can it be compared, and what are the benefits from market leaders like UiPath, automation, anywhere?
This is actually a really good question, because SAP built process automation, which is part of enterprise automation, so one of the most critical part, can be also understood as our successor tool of intelligent robotic process automation, which has the inherent focus of screen automation, robotic process automation on a task level. So enterprise automation really includes robotic process automation. If you want to create a process, if you want to create a workflow, you can always leverage screen automation, service automation, and local bots to execute certain activities. But SAP Build and also enterprise automations in specifically goes beyond that, because sometimes if you want to really have an end-to-end scenarios like order to cash, procure to pay, or like in this example, hire to retire, only having an RPA tool in your arsenal sometimes is not really sufficient. Sometimes you need some BPMN modeling capabilities to create orchestrated workflows that have a lot of dependencies to user approvals or transactions that can occur in other systems. Sometimes you need certain integration capabilities, like having an API management in between for governance, or leveraging eventing capabilities or certain connectors to third-party applications. This is really where it is not only RPA, but extended with Integration Suite and also process automation that goes beyond typical robotic process automation. And what our customers really appreciate, also compared to our competitors, is in the area of content, which Stefan already mentioned. I think in our content store, we have over 470 different artifacts where you can leverage pre-built RPA scenarios, pre-integrated workflow projects, or even pre-built iFlows that you can deploy directly. So there you can leverage best practices and also recommendations directly coming from our development units, but also from our partners that are licensed to upload in the store. Another thing that customers really appreciate is that it is not only limited to RPA, but it also comes with the entire business technology platform, where you also find other capabilities in the area of SAP Analytics Cloud, application development, so you can really create some sort of end-to-end architecture. And something that customers also really appreciate about this tool is in the area of connectivity to SAP systems. Because if you want to integrate an workflow or an RPA bot, this is really the best tool on the market that you can find, simply because we have standardized connectors, standardized SDKs that really makes the connectivity to those tools as simple as possible. But I don't know, Arti and Stefan, if you want to elaborate on that, since it's also like a really important question about enterprise automation.
Absolutely, Manuel. You covered it very well. Just to add to it, right, when compared to the other vendors in the market, the maturity of Signavio, of SAP Integration Suite and SAP Build is already well known, right? We have been marked as leaders in by the analysts in the market, in the spaces that we have individually been available in so far, right? The iPaaS space, the process mining space, and in the low-code application development and automation space. But with enterprise automation, the main thing that we are signaling, SAP is signaling, is the intent to bring all of these together, these really flexible and rich sets of features and tools together to make it extremely easy for customers, our customers, to achieve enterprise hyper automation, as the term is in the market, much more easily, right? So that is the path ahead and the vision that we have.
Yes, and to just add to the wonderful explanation by my two colleagues, one thing I also would like to let you know, I mean, probably you have already used UiPath for automations in non-SAP applications, or you have, for example, leveraged Automation Anywhere for automations in, let's say, Salesforce or something like this. That's okay. And we're also partnering, for example, with UiPath exactly for those cases when you have already done some kind of automations in non-SAP applications with this tool. Or, for example, we even have now a partnership with Automation Anywhere, where they are offering content packages within our API Business Hub, which will then also help you to, for example, do automations in Salesforce. So it's not only competition, but really also they are also part of our open ecosystem beside partners like Microsoft or Google. I guess you're on mute for some reason.
I am so sorry. Thank you very much. So let us come to the next question. Do we have the option to record SAP Business Client screen using automation tools?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? I also cannot find it in the chat.
Do we have the option to record SAP client screen using automation tools?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is like the premise of whole robotic process automation, to perform recording, service automation, and our recorder and our SDKs. They are not just limited to web applications or Windows applications, but local files, local systems and applications are certainly included in those SDKs. So this is a yes for sure on this question.
Great, thank you. Now, just a second, this is the answer. Now, Arti was great, and we have other experts in the chat that are already answering questions. So in case I'm asking a question that has already been answered, please tell me. Can we deploy build apps into Fiori on-premise Launchpad, or is it only possible to deploy in WorkZone? Do you want me to repeat?
No, that's clear. I think it works. I mean, it should be able, because the deployment mechanisms of SAP built apps are very, very free in this regard. There is also a documentation on the help portal showing you how to do this on the on-premise Launchpad. I mean, we always recommend to use the Launchpad capabilities on the BTP, whether it works on standard edition, works on advanced edition, but via some workaround, you can also deploy it on your on-premise Launchpad. But maybe let me look into the proper documentation and answer to you directly in the chat.
Great, thank you. Then, what is planned in Q1 regarding SVPA? And the next one, or perhaps we first answer this one and then I'll answer the next one.
Yeah, thanks a lot for this question. I mean, as you know, it's important also for us to provide you new features and also hear what you, our customers, are saying, what kind of requirements you have. And one thing which will actually be released globally beginning of next week, we have already released it in some of the data centers. So probably you have seen in the demo by Manuel today that there is still the horizontal layer and the modeling environment. And we are now introducing a new flavor, if you will, really vertical layout. What kind of value does this bring to you? On the one hand side, you can get more information, more artifacts within the same screen. We also have worked and did some improvements on the overall design and also how you can actually expedite also the creation of your business process. By the way, you can all do this without writing a single line of code. So, and what we are providing there is really a kind of a new flavor and really improvements how you can create these business processes within SAP Build Process Automation. In addition to that, and as you have probably also guessed, I mean, when we're talking about enterprise automation, it's also about the combination and integration of different products. And this is also something what we are forcing and moving on when it comes to the SAP Build portfolio itself. So better integration with SAP Build apps as one of the items we have in Q1 in our roadmap, and several other areas. One other thing, what we are also working on during the course of the year is also the whole notion and topic of generative AI, so that you can use, for example, an assistant like Joule from SAP, which can really help you to create processes or business rules based on the prompt you have given in the system. So, I mean, now we have really, let's say, lowered the entry barrier with build process automation. Now the next level would come in where you just type in your prompt, your text, and then the system will give you either, for example, a recommendation of an already existing content package, or even create the process for you, and then you can enhance it and adapt it that it really fits to your needs.
Yeah, thank you very much, Stefan, for taking this question. And I think you summarized all the highlights greatly. And one thing that I also would like to add, and those are capabilities that I am really looking forward to, that will also are planned to be released in Q1, is everything in the modeling area. So there's like a feature called Advanced Expression Editor, where you can do more sophisticated stuff when it comes to doing calculations, handling variables, sending data back and forth. There will be a tighter functionality around error and exception handling, where you can define certain global rules whenever there's something going wrong or erroneous inside your process logic. So this is something that has been also really expected by many customers. So I'm also happy that this is going to be delivered also soon. And one thing that I also think is very interesting and really fits to this whole BTP story is the native integration to the SAP Cloud ALM, so the application lifecycle management. And here you can also really step up your game when it comes to monitoring, alerting, reviewing certain jobs that you're running in both SAP and in non-SAP systems. So yeah, the future is looking really, really good for build, and especially build process automation.
Great, thank you. There's a question about pre-built content, and RT already answered it. So my question to CT is, if that is enough, then I would jump to the next question. Otherwise, please mention it in the chat that you need more information. Now, how do I get the access code? Is the question here.
there we would need to know the access code for what. This is like a very vague question. If it's about accessing BTP or build process automation, then it's clear, and we can provide documentation here, but maybe the colleague needs to clarify the question.
I guess he posted or she posted the question when you presented something, so would be great if you could just clarify which code you need. Then is there
Tanya, if you don't mind me interrupting, I think it is related to the pre-built content itself. Maybe we can add a line here about the pre-built content itself, and just to clarify what it means, right? So when we say about pre-built content, it is not just description or information that is being shared by us on the store that we mentioned, right? SAP Build has its own store, and then all of these are discoverable on the hub, SAP Business Accelerator Hub. And what is more important as part of this content that we share is that it is not description and documentation, but there is actual code behind the scenes that can be connected. Once you have the license to the tools, be it SAP Build Process Automation or SAP Build in general or SAP Integration Suite, you can consume these codes. If that is the reference to the question, yeah, you can consume these codes which have been shared by us or shipped by us on the Business Accelerator Hub. And that's quite important to note.
Great, thank you so much, Arti. The next one is there a GitHub repository for the Integration Suite and BPA?
I think this question refers to the first question and was already answered. It's not a GitHub repository, but yeah, a repository that can be found on the Business Accelerator Hub.
Okay, great. Thank you for the clarification. Now, there is a question. I want to build a journal entry approval for ECC using workflow management and BPA automation. And is this the right step to be followed? First, to use event mesh. Second, to use workflow management in BAS. And third, to approve via Inbo.
I mean, that really depends on your setup. By the way, journal entry approval, for this, we do have some videos online and some pre-built content where you can see what are the best practices. I mean, the general steps, they are looking absolutely fine to me. With event mesh, it really depends on how does this process needs to be initiated. If you say it should be initiated asynchronously via events that are occurring in your system records, then for sure, event mesh would be the way to go, and then listening and subscribing to those events and then using build process automation. But if you say the journal entry approval should be started by a self-service application or by a business user entering certain journal entry posting data, then you can either use SAP Build apps where you can create those lightweight applications, or the embedded forms designer. But I think this approach that you mentioned here looks fine. Also, considering Integration Suite, if you want to establish some sort of sophisticated integration landscape to post your journal entry somewhere, if it cannot be done by the RPA bot or by the process designer. But so far it looks good to me. And also the point that you mentioned, the approval via the inbox, that's right. And here you can either use the embedded inbox provided from SAP Build, or you can use the task center, which is the recommended approach, because here it has more capabilities, and you can also integrate the task center to other SAP task sources as well.
Great, thank you.
And probably just to add to this one thing, and also regarding the wording, because I've just seen now the questions in the chat. So when you were talking about workflow management, so this has been the predecessor of SAP Build Process Automation. So what we have shown you today in the area of enterprise automation is really SAP Build Process Automation, which is combining workflow management, the capabilities there, and also robotic process automation in one environment. And this you can then also leverage and use, and even use the pre-built content what we have exactly for this journal entry use case, and start from there.
Great, thank you so much. What would be the best resource and documentation for learning how to set up BTP the first time with sub-accounts and entitlements?
Yeah, this is actually a very good question. Comes very often in the space of how do I set up my SAP Build account, because BTP is the foundation of SAP Build, and you need to have a proper setup of your global accounts and setup accounts. There are certain documentation. There's a best practice guide for the business technology platform that can support you in how many sub accounts do I need, how do I establish staging and development, and how many sub accounts do I need for a SAP build. Just a disclaimer from my point of view, I always have the opinion, if you want to get started with SAP build, one sub account is completely sufficient. But this recommendation that I just gave to you is also documented inside of the SAP Help portal, and I will add the link here. And also, in addition, there are certain governance capabilities that you can use as well, like setting up the users properly, connecting your BTP sub account to your identity management, and all of this is covered in the best practice guideline for the business technology platform.
And actually, Ceci just posted the link in the chat to further information.
Awesome.
Great. Now I'm looking. There is one about licensing. Licensing is a big challenge for us to analyze when we have parallel projects running. I don't think directory-wise segregation will help here much. Do you have any suggestions?
I think for licensing, one of the best resources to use is the SAP Discovery Center, because it not only gives you an introduction to each service that you can find on the BTP, but also an estimator and a calculator. So there you can find what is the metric, what is the licensing of Integration Suite, how is the subscription model working for SAP Build Process Automation. This is something where you can enter your data, you can see how many connections do I need, how many users do I need to create workflows, how many users do I need to approve workflows. Entering all the data gives you already a pretty good estimation on your overall licensing cost for your particular use case. So this is one way to start with. In addition, there are also commercial constructs like the Cloud Platform Enterprise Agreement that is also supporting here to be a little bit more flexible in your licensing, because sometimes it can happen at the start of the project, you don't really know how many users you need, how many components and services do I need, and the credit model of the CPA really gives you more flexibility in this regard, because then you can also add and extend your current usage if your initial estimation was not 100% correct.
Great, thank you. Then how can we connect generative AI to custom applications of freestyle written applications?
It's always an interesting question, right? The use of generative AI. We are also, I think, Manuel and Stefan would add into this remark from me. From SAP as well, we have multiple features which we are investing on to ensure that generative AI is being leveraged, and we have more accelerated development from both application and integration side. From Integration Suite, and I would just like to comment that many of our customers as well as partners are doing this, right? They are using the APIs that we have, the documentation that we have, which is quite rich in nature already, and using the generative AI capabilities to start defining or getting a code out of as an output. And this is getting used for mapping logic, for Groovy scripts, right, and in many other scenarios. So we are definitely seeing this already happening in our ecosystem, and I'm sure SAP Build colleagues would like to add to it.
Any further comments to it, or are you fine?
No, perfectly fine. I think you summarized it very well, Arti.
Great. Then let me jump to the next questions. Does SAP have any solution for capture resolution on web automations?
This is something I'm not aware of. We have to take it as a follow-up question and then answer it in the chat.
No, actually there is an answer in there, but yeah, maybe we can look it up. So when it comes to the web view component in SAP Build Apps, how can you get past the error? React Native Web View does not support this platform when launching preview on web. Do you want me to repeat?
Very interesting question. I must admit, I cannot answer it, but I am happy to take this with me to the build-ups colleagues and get back with the answer on this.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Is there any plan to release the work queues feature to SAP Build Process Automation for better process management as RPA tool? It is a game changer to track what happened to the transaction while processing.
Sorry, I also don't find the question here, and I didn't really understood. At what types of features?
Let me repeat. Is there any plan to release work queues feature to SAP Build Process Automation for better process management as RPA tool?
I mean, that's what you need to define work queues. I mean, technically, yes, it is possible, because usually when you have an RPA bot, the automation runs for 2-3 minutes and then it's over. But it's not really capable of queuing and waiting for certain activities. That's why, the process designer, which extends regular development for robotic process automation, can certainly a way to address it, but also the eventing capabilities of the integration suite to also wait for certain activities, queuing up certain tasks. So that would also be a way how we just extend regular RPA development.
Okay, great. Now, how does SAP BTP help businesses to reduce their IT costs? And how can we promote it as partners?
I mean, that's a rather general question. On the one hand side, how it really helps you to reduce IT costs with SAP Business Technology Platform, you really get several services which can help you in really different use cases, and really also always working along the business needs. So in what we have shown you today, it was really about how you can integrate with different applications, how you can automate business processes. And within this area, when we're talking about reducing their IT costs, on the one hand side, you have just one landscape, which you need to take care of. You know, when you have done, for example, your subscriptions, your entitlements, your user management, and so on, it's all within one box, and then you can leverage them in the different services which SAP Business Technology Platform is providing to you. On the other hand, what we have also shown you slightly today, when we're talking about SAP Build as a low-code, no-code environment, of course, it also reduces your costs in that way that you don't need to be, let's say, the expert in a certain area, in, let's say, in a certain development language or something like this, but you can really also spread out the usage here within your organization. Though, always having in mind, I mean, there still needs to be some people who are doing some kind of governance and also ensure that just the right business systems are touched at the right point in time. And to your other questions, how you can promote this as partners, please join us in the partner community, in the partner portal. We are doing here dedicated sessions for you as a partner, where we are explaining the benefits of BTP overall, of the different services, how you can actually use this within your customer use cases. And the promotion itself will actually then come with the benefits your customers will gain when using the services offered by SAP Business Technology Platform. Anything to add, Arki or Manuel? This is more
Again, very
comprehensive.
well summarized, Stefan. I'm just going to add a couple of sentences to it to, just bring in my perspective as well. So what we have seen from our customer base is that because of the accelerators that we are providing, the pre-built content, it really brings down the time to deliver. It is much more faster, and the return on investment our customers are finding when using SAP BTP, specifically in the integration suite product that I am dealing with, is I am practically seeing it is much more higher, right, with the standard content that is being delivered. And then overall, as a platform, SAP BTP has this multiple features that are being provided that are complementary in nature, and that helps in achieving with the customer's enterprise goals, right? The IT goals of any organization. And being provided by a single vendor, this really adds a lot of value to the customers that we are engaging with. And we see that practically day in and day out. The other aspect, when you talk about as partners, there are multiple ways that the partners can also engage with us. One is by, being evangelists for us, being, talking and selling the platform and the products that we have. The second is by building complementary solutions and services using the platform itself. And the third definitely would be that we encourage you to also, if you have content that you want to also list and market via the accelerator hub, we would definitely encourage that. And finally, we are engaging with a lot of partners who are doing implementation services for our customers to achieve their goals and even do the maintenance part of the implementations, reducing the workload on the customers themselves. So these are the different ways that we have our partners engaging with us, and looking forward to, getting, as Stefan mentioned, engage with us via the community channels, via the partner channels. And we have a lot of learning material over there, and we are always happy to, take the discussions to the next level.
Thank you. I would also like to add that tomorrow we have a session on BTP that will surely also show you how you can reduce your costs with the help of SAP BTP. I will post the link to the session tomorrow in the chat shortly. Now, the next question we have is on SAP Cap. Can you elaborate on the future and business utility?
Sure. Stefan, I am not the expert. Stefan, would you have anything better?
Me neither, I must admit. So, but if I would have my colleague with me, then I could easily answer this. But
maybe one thing to add, just high level about CAP. It is one of the most important framework for full stack development. I mean, and alongside with REP, the RESTful ABAP programming model, you can also establish any types of applications. I mean, CAP more focused for Java and JavaScript developer, REP more for the ABAP developers. So it's going to have like a big future and big business utility for creating those full stack applications in a very standardized approach, both from the UI, service, and backend layer. And it is also going to be enforced in one of the new upcoming build components. I mean, maybe some of you have already heard about it, that we are launching a fourth build component, namely SAP BuildCode, where we also have the Pro Code development. And here, things like the cloud application programming model and also the ABAP RESTful programming model are going to be very important here.
Great, thank you. So we have a comment with regards to the work queue question. The work queues, for example, is if one process has to create 100 invoices in one run, it helps to track what happened to specific invoices while processing because they are independent. Does that clarify your question, Stefan?
Yeah, there are capabilities to also check and track the different instances, what have been then created for these invoices. But we can also follow up on this detailed question afterwards. Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. Now there was a question about Joule, but Ceci already provided a link for further information on that. Then for more complex development, will Node.js libraries be added to SVPA to use in custom script, or are there any plans about that?
Not in SVPA, because it's a low-code, no-code environment where we use those graphic layout designers. It is not a pro-code development environment to use Node.js. However, you can already use the Business Application Studio and in the future also build code to do these types of development. I mean, there's already a pretty good connectivity to the workflow design environment on the Business Application Studio and also SVPA, but those coding capabilities, scripting capabilities are not going to be part of SVPA.
Okay, thank you. So is document information extraction premium edition more powerful than document information extraction SDK? And which one is to be used as a roadmap?
Yeah, for sure, the premium edition, because it is more powerful. I mean, the previous document information extraction edition was already using machine learning in combination with OCR, but the templating approach was pretty rigid, standardized, also static. And the premium edition in the future is also combining the standard doc service with generative AI. So there are large language models behind, which give you a very strong accuracy. I think you should definitely go for the premium edition. On the one hand side, that other business documents can be understood better because the current docs service understands business documents like invoices, financial documents like payment advices, order documents. But the premium edition will be more powerful for business documents that are out of this scope. And also, thanks to the usage of large language models, we have a bigger coverage of different languages. I think the standard one has like 12 to 14 different languages supported, and with the premium edition, much more languages and much more types of fonts will be supported as well.
Thank you. I'm just looking at the hour. We are actually on top of the hour. Shall I have 3 more questions? Shall we continue?
I can.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so let me quickly ask them. As we upskill and expand with SAP BTP via micro-learning, guided journeys, etc., we add services and entitlements. What do we need to consider about any potential new cost and licensing?
That's quite, let's say, a question where we probably would also need to have some more background information regarding the dedicated use case. I mean, one thing, what is clear that you always have, let's say, control also about your costs, which you can also find information regarding licensing cost in the Discovery Center. And I mean, one possibility is also alluded by Emmanuel, when you are, for example, using a CPA contract, that you are really just using the services what you need for your dedicated use case. And all in all, as I said, we have quite transparent pricing model, and this really depends on the use case. So it's really hard to answer these questions without further background.
So perhaps we can take it offline.
The one more thing that I would add is that explore the free tier service that is also available for most of the services on BTP, right? Because here the question is regarding upskilling. I'm assuming it is where different developers are trying out different services to understand the potential and to explore the possibilities within their own use cases. So the free tier service is available for most of the services on BTP, and this can be leveraged as you learn and explore the services. That is the one addition that I would do. But we can also, answer this better offline.
Thank you. One more question. I have added a bar chart in build apps. Can the bars be in different colors?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you develop applications and build apps, there's this theme designer. So you can do overarching layouts and themes about colors, fonts, the size of your general font and your overall design. But also inside each UI element, you can change certain colors in the element. So this is, yeah, for sure possible. There's also a pretty good documentation in SAP Build Apps that is also explaining how to do this. I can maybe attach it to the chat.
Thank you. One very last question. We're looking to build a competency in our organization for B2B developments. Can you guide me to any useful resources that can help me in this journey?
This is actually a very good question because we are currently working on a white paper called How to Get Started with Enterprise Automation. So this is something I will share to you for sure, where they have like information about content, about activating the services, and so on and so forth. But one chapter that might be of interest to you is about the SAP Build Governance Resource Center. And this Build Governance Resource Center really is about your questions. How do I can establish some digital COE or some center of excellence or center of competence? And the SAP Build Governance Resource Center is basically a template which you can activate within the SAP Build Work Zone. It is an entire open collaboration page, which you can use for assigning different responsibilities during the project development, sharing documentation, and also generating some digital center of excellence to really bring these types of technologies into the organization, into the business units. And also in a couple of weeks, there will also be the release of the use case body. And the use case body, it is also a standard application which is based on SAP Build that is going to help you on the ideation process, because sometimes you need to get inputs, you need to identify the pain points from the business organization. And with this use case body, they can address those issues. The suggestions and the ideas of a new project will be shared within the digital COE, and then you can vote and you can estimate, okay, which is the development project that we will focus on next. So there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of best practices that you can use, and I will also share them to you directly in the chat. And we will also link this how to get started guide into the description of this YouTube video.
Great. Thank you so much. Any other questions will be answered either in the comments area underneath this video or in the blog. And with this, I would like to really express my heartfelt thank you to our experts today for answering all the questions and for sharing the information you shared in the very beginning and during the questions. And of course, big thanks to all attendees for joining. If you think this session was of value to you, please like it and subscribe to the channel to be informed about the next sessions. Have a great day. Have a great evening, depending on your order. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.